Hey everybody, this is Doug with Artfully Rogue, and today we're going to be talking about a new plasma cutter that I just got in the mail. I've tried to get away from doing sponsored videos just because I don't like the timelines to work within those sponsored videos. But I was in the market for a new plasma cutter, and this company reached out and asked if I'd like to try their plasma cutter. So the timing was perfect, the machine was ideal, and so that's what we're going to do. Now, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name. Maybe it's Vevor, throw a little Spanish, Vevor, I don't know. But we're gonna call it Vevor for right now, and maybe somebody can correct me down in the comments for what this machine is actually called. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed and let's see what we have in here, and then we're gonna give it a test. Okay, that's all that's in the box. Okay. So we have the machine itself, which is already set up for a 220 hookup. Let's go ahead and see what we have in here accessory-wise. Now I'm sure there's going to be some assembly with this thing, as there are most of the times. So we have an owner's manual, or say a user manual. We have some, I would say, looks like maybe like a 3/8 hose. So I'm assuming this is probably going to be for your airline. We have some pipe tape. We have a very short adapter that goes from a 220 to a 110 plug. So it has the capability of doing both. So that's a good thing. Let's see, we have a little box here full of goodies. By the sounds of it, it could be a gauge of some sort. Yep, that's exactly what it is. It is an air filter to help remove the moisture, and we have a gauge. Now we'll put all this together here in just a second once we get all the pieces laid out. All right, looks like we have the ground clamp and a few, I guess, accessory holders. We have the main plasma whip, which has your trigger, and well, it looks like it has all your connections that are necessary for this. And a little package of consumables. I'm gonna get this laid out here on the table and then kind of show you what exactly you're getting in the box in a little bit more organized fashion. Okay, so this is everything that you get with your Vevor Cut 50. So that's the style of machine, it's called the Cut 50. Then you also get your ground clamp and you get your cutting gun. You'll also get a transparent hose. You'll also get an adapter. And you're going to get a pressure reducing valve that also looks to have a moisture collection cup here as well. You get 2 cable holders. You also get 3 hose clamps, 3 screws, and a pair of consumables with some Teflon tape. Now, if you've never assembled a plasma cutter before, I'll leave a link in the video description and also somewhere up here in the video where I'll show you how to put this thing together. But for right now, let's go ahead and take it outside and let's do some tests. Power, check. Ground, check. Power on, check. PSI at 50. Now we have to convert PSI to kgf, which is 3.5 because it's a metric system. You adjust by turning the top dial to 3.5. And then check your book for the amperage. Now for 10 gauge, which is the smallest, it says 15 to 50. Well, that's a pretty wide range there. So we're going to turn it all the way down to 20 because I don't have a 15. And we're going to go ahead and cut this stainless sheet, which is 16 gauge. And as you can tell, it is not penetrating the stainless at all, and it looks like it just gouged it. So let's go ahead and turn that up to about 30 amps, and let's see what that can do. That's looking just a little bit better. It's also feeling a little bit better as well. You can see the sparks going on the other side of the stainless. Now let's take a closer look and see what the top of that cut looks like. Much better, no dross, and it penetrated all the way through. Let's move to 1/8 inch steel. Okay, same PSI, also 15 to 50 amps. Now we know that 30 worked for stainless, so let's leave it at 30, give that a shot on the 1/8 inch plate. Okay, first pass did not penetrate all the way at 30 amps, but after the second pass you could knock that off. Now I'm going to try a zigzag pattern here, because I find that sometimes the zigzag pattern will show you a little bit more on how things will penetrate. And as you can see, it penetrated one way and didn't penetrate the other way. So we're going to crank up the amps to 40, and let's see if that does a little bit better. All right, that feels a little bit better. I had to slow it down just a little bit, but that was better. We're going to take another pass, turn that up to 40, get that zigzag pattern going again. Now you can see I'm moving quite a bit faster on this one. 40 amps seems to work really well. Missed a little spot there, but dropped right off. So 40 amps at 50 PSI did well. 1/4 inch to 60 PSI on 1/4 inch steel seemed to cut that. Let's move up to 3/8 and 65 PSI at 50 amps. So now we're maxed out on the amps. We are as high as we can go. And the first pass did not penetrate. Now, that could be because of the PSI. It might need to be increased, but I'm going based on the recommendation of the machine. Now on the second pass and the third pass in the second cut, that seemed to do it. Let's go ahead and go 1/2 inch at 65 PSI at 50 amps. Now this is one of the reasons why I wanted to try this machine. I need to cut some 1/2 inch steel, and so I can already tell this is not going to go through at the current settings. Now 50 amps is the highest I can go. I can turn up the PSI a little bit, but let's go ahead and give this another shot in the same cut and see if we can clean this up a little bit and try to get this to drop off. Trying to go a little bit slower this time, but it still didn't drop off. All right, we increase the pressure, see if that will help. We can't do much with the amps, so we will just work with the PSI right now. Trying to go as slow as possible. See if I can let that penetrate. Taking my time. And it looks cleaner up top, but that will not push off. So we're going to take out the extension and we're going to go direct to the outlet. I often use an extension simply because I cut outside of my shop. That way I don't get it too smoky. And I was surprised. I thought by going straight to the outlet, this would be a much cleaner cut. But as you can see, there was just a lot of garbage up on top of that cut. Trying again. So I went ahead and I increased the PSI up to 75 PSI. So I'm going 10 PSI higher than what is actually recommended on the machine. Now here's my first pass at 75 PSI and direct into the 220 outlet at 50 amps. As you can see, I'm going nice and slow here. So that was one pass. We're going to try this a second time. Trying to change the angle at which I'm cutting to see if maybe that will make a difference. At least this time I could actually push it down, but the piece didn't drop off.
As a review goes, with regards to this particular machine, I would say it was missing a few small parts, but they weren't catastrophic, and I was able to kind of keep moving forward. The user manual does help, but it's not as thorough as you might want if you're a beginner. As far as cutting, it seems to do exactly what it says it's going to do. Now I may need to make some minor adjustments in the way I'm cutting the 1/2 inch, because as you saw, it wasn't always going through the material as cleanly and as neatly as it possibly could. Now that could be the speed in which I'm pulling the torch along. It could be the air pressure. As you saw, we did change power. I went off an extension cord and went directly to the power source. That didn't seem to change too much. But as far as a low-cost machine goes and plasma cutting, I'm sure this will compete with most of them. I'll try to do an updated review maybe 6 months to a year down the road after I've really kind of put this through an actual working test. There's a good chance I use this, 4 or 5 times, maybe a week or every couple of weeks. But as you get to know a product, you find out what the little idiosyncrasies are that help make this product better or help you decide not to buy it again.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you in the next video.